And you've said that it's like easier to buy $1 million in revenue than create it yourself. And that's something that I've never heard before. So like again, we're talking about money and like a lot of people just don't know what we don't know. And so you also mentioned how that like the biggest wealth transfer in our time is happening right now. And we don't need any more small businesses because you can anything you want right now, it's already built and it already exists. So can you talk about that for someone that's just hearing this for the first time and like how they can get in on those opportunities? Welcome to EMG Transformations with Dan Stoll. Each episode will empower you to ignite your inner fire and provide methods to maximize your mental and physical performance. Buckle up and get ready to spark your transformation with Nova Fusion.
3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Welcome to EMG Transformations. Today you'll want to whip out your journal because we have a legendary guest, the one and only Mr. Michael Stricklin. Michael is a highly successful real estate developer, author, and entrepreneur. He's turned a $22,000 lawn care business into $1 million empire in less than 3 years and has added multiple extensions to his growing portfolio. His mission is to build generational wealth for his family and equip others with the blueprint of strategies on how to do it too, which you can learn in his book, Time is Running Out. He's featured on ABC, Inc. magazine, BuzzFeed, Entrepreneur, and Forbes, and I'm humbled and honored to share this conversation with you guys. Thank you for joining us today, Michael.
Awesome. I really appreciate you having me.
Yeah, man. I love your work ethic and your will to be great. That's something that we talked about in Toronto. And, there's a difference between will and skill. And you have the will to invest, learn from the best, and apply those skills to build your empire. But you also have that will to give back and teach others, which is a really special thing. So this conversation is super important because we typically talk about like wellness and optimizing your performance, but when you do the right things, you're going to make money damn near every time. So, talking about how 9 out of 10 people, if they get $1 million, they're going to blow it within that 12 months. That's why we're so excited to have this conversation so we can teach people, how to manage their money and make the most of it. So thank you so much for joining us today, man.
Absolutely. I'm definitely glad to be on here and see anybody I can help, any piece of advice, any golden nuggets. Super glad to be able to provide that. So
Yeah. So let's bring it back by starting with your backstory. Can you share a little bit on how you went from financially having things, taken care of to earning your income and making a name for yourself? That was an inspiring story.
so it's kind of crazy. So when I was growing up, my dad worked in the oil field. We didn't really do a whole lot together in the very, as I was growing up. He was always gone. 60% of the time he was gone because 30 days on a rig, you're sitting on a rig, and then your travel time is part of your home time. So if you're going 30, home 30, well, you're home 30, you're traveling for 4 days, maybe 5, then you come home and you sleep and try to catch some more rest and jet lag and all that. So, he was gone majority of the time. So in return, I got to spend and do whatever I wanted to do. I can remember $6,000, $8,000 months. Just I had a card and whatever I want to do, I could do it. I'll never forget. I was probably 16 or so. Uh, I was at a restaurant. My buddy owned it and had a charge account. It was like $3,500. My mom, we went there to eat. I was like, "Hey, mom, I need you to clear that tab up." She was like, "Are you freaking kidding me?" Faded, whatever. So I'll never forget and when I was 17, my dad put me on an allowance. It's like the worst day of my life. I remember crying. I remember it was like horrible. You go from doing anything to $2,500 a month. $2,500 a month, a lot of money when you're 17 years old. You're not doing anything for it. I understand that, but going from where I was to allowance, it was like, So $2,500 a month, $1,250 every 2 weeks, which is how he got paid every 2 weeks. They gave me $1,250. So then I got a $10 an hour job, and it was like anything you want, 2,500 to 313.28 a week. You know, that's $1,300 a month. And I was like, oh my goodness, I've got to do something. What am I gonna do? Miserable, traded time for money, like working $10 an hour. Horrible. 2 years. I didn't know what I was gonna do. All I knew is I was going to the oil field until that time come. My dad said, I'm not hiring you, and I'm not getting you hired on. And his dad told him that, and he ended up fighting it, and he went to the oil field. But he told me, he said, go figure something else out. So at the time, I was fishing, FOW, Bassmaster, travel with some of the best known in the world still today. Wesley Strader's one of them, top 5 in the world. I actually got to travel, and it goes all the way back to getting in the right rooms with the right people, and just that's the way you exceed and gain the knowledge you need to be able to have the outcomes you want and what you're doing, right? So being able to travel with him and several of the other top in the country, I wanted to do a fishing career. And I was like, so I started doing that, but I had this $10 an hour job, and I did it for several years before I got the job. When I got the job, it slowed down. I just did tournaments. Well, I went on a bachelor trip. Never even thought about being self-employed. Like, didn't really even understand it. Like, just thought I was going to be employed the rest of my life. One of my friend rode with us on this bachelor trip in Arkansas to go on goose hunt. He's in the back. He's just answering the phone. And, just these great conversations like we're having now, just talking, just checking on all this. It was a supply. He supplied food for the houses or for the boats going down the Mississippi River, tugboats. So he was calling, just checking on Catherine. How's your family? How's your kids? Just having good conversations. So I was like, that's something that's cool. Like I could do that. I mean, I like talking to people, right? So I was like, man, I spent the whole bachelor trip. I mean, it was fun and all, but I spent the whole trip my focus on him, trying to figure out how he could help me and be my mentor. So I just straight past him. You don't get what you don't ask for. And I preach that all the time to my kids. Like, if my kids ask me for something crazy, most of the time they're gonna get it just because they had the audacity to ask for it. But I said, how can you help me? Like, what do I need to do? What do I need? How do I get started? Like, let's go. And he was like, Russ, save up 10 grand, I'll help you. I saw it. It'll take me a minute, but let's go. $300 a week. I was like, all right. So we get back 2 months in. He calls me. He's like, hey, man, look, I got this lawn service, global lawn service. I will owner finance it to you. I want $20,000 for it. It's doing this. I think it was like $5,000 a month. Well, he said, all I want is the first payment down, $800 a month. I think it was like $800 a month. He wanted $800 down. Simple, easy deal. He had all the lawn care equipment and the clients. So I took that. I did that. We worked on that deal. We finalized that deal. I actually blew a tournament, left early, come home because he was gone, and started cutting the clients. It didn't take me 30 days to realize that he had screwed me. Like, supposed to do 500, it did like 1,500. Oh, I'm sorry, it should be like 5,000, it did like 1,500. So basically, which was fine, because it kind of still replaced my income, right? I was doing 1,200, it's doing 1,500. I mean, whatever. I did have some expenses that I didn't have before, but I still was able to pay my little bit of notes that I did have at the time. And I just hustled. I realized, I went to him, me and my grandfather. My grandfather actually acted as my attorney in that situation. Kind of crazy. I agree, and I don't agree with him now, looking back at that situation. And you don't know what you don't know. He told me I was crazy. I was spending 20 grand on a lawn service business. I could just go buy my own stuff and start a business for, just say, 10 grand, right? He's like, why are you doing this? Like, I'm buying the revenue. I didn't know what I was doing at the time. I knew I was buying revenue, but like, I didn't know the scale of what I know today by my mentors today exactly what I was doing. I was accidentally doing it, but I was doing it on the right path. But what I didn't understand was the due diligence part.
Mm.
I knew this list. I seen this list. I went off the numbers. I never called them clients. I was supposed to go ride with them. When I started riding with them, or I started going to these clients, he started blowing me off. I dropped him 2 years ago. I dropped him a year ago. I dropped him 6 months ago. I told him last week we weren't doing this no more. Then I found out, just say 25 clients went down to 10 or 5. So, long story short, I went and bought new equipment. My grandfather co-signed for me for my first mower. It's like $8,000. 17 years old. I got a charge account at the local small engine shop. I put my weed eaters, my blowers, my string, everything on it. And then I went and opened a charge account up at the gas station, local small gas station, right? Um, and that's where it goes to. That's where I have to argue with that statement. It takes money to make money. I don't agree with that. It takes want. It takes confidence. It takes asking for what most people won't ask for, and being able to sell yourself and have people believe in you. If they believe in me, that's why they give me the credit cards. Not credit cards. They give me the line of credits at their stores, and it helped me get started, right? And then my grandfather co-signing. If it was 8,000, it was 8 million. He still helped me. I had to have that help. So very grateful for that. Paid that mower off. Bought several after that, but I just put my head down and really focused on getting more clients. Used them clients as a base to pay what I had, and just started working. Started working. Before I knew it, literally was sitting. I'll never forget it. I was sitting in a parking lot. I lived right around the corner from a shopping center, and somehow or another, one of my signs got put up somewhere. The guy that owned the shopping center saw it, and he called me. He's like, "Hey, I own this center. Do you want to cut it?" I was like, "Let's go." You know, that's my first big deal. And that led into his hotel, and that led into his houses, and then it just escalated from there. And then I had this customer in Clayton, Louisiana, said, "Can you cut this tree?" And I was like, "Take that back, take that back." My girlfriend at the time, or fiance at the time, her dad actually got me my first $2,200 job, and it was cutting the tops out of some trees. And me and my uncle did it. You know, that was like eye opening. I'm mowing these $40 yards, and I get this $2,200 job, and it's like, that was easy. It did take a couple of days, but Well, then somebody asked me to cut a tree in Clayton, Louisiana, so I rented a lift, and I rented a skid steer. We were leaving it on site, and I spent uh, way more time than I would today doing it, but I got it down. It was like $3,000 or something. And since then, it just kind of took off. And when I was cutting that tree, one of the guys that actually was licensed in the state, 'cause I didn't have a license at the time, he actually pulled up. Best friends, he's best friend at my wedding now. But he pulled up. So, what are you doing? I was like, I'm just cutting this tree. So we actually ended up partnering up for several years, and I hauled all his debris. He cut the trees, I hauled the debris. Um, that really opened my eyes. I learned a lot about tree business in that aspect. And when I bought that skid steer, for 2 years, I really wanted a skid steer, and I was scared of that $768 a month note. I was like, can I pay it? Can I do it? I don't know. Actually, the salesman's in my office right now. He actually got me approved on that deal, and he got me approved like 3 or 4 times. I'm in, I'm out. I'm in, I'm out. I'm in, I'm out. All that. Nope, winter's coming. I'm out. Well, I finally was like, let's go. Ordered it before I got in. I had multiple weeks worth of work, and that next year, I had $500,000 worth of revenue to my business off a $40,000 machine.
Wow.
And I was like, can I get 3 of them? So me and that guy kind of split on hauling debris and stuff. I was at skid steer. We a couple years, and I got my own lift and got my own license, and um, kind of one of them turning points is we got into it, and he told me that he was basically the tree man. I should even be bidding on a tree. I don't have a license, and it was a real heated conversation. And he told me, and he was best man at the wedding. He actually told me not too long ago. He was like, I looked at the guy that was in the truck with me when that happened and said he's going to go get a license. You know, it wasn't a month. I had a license. I'm like, let's go. You know, so I blew up and started doing $1.5 million a year in the tree business, lawn care. Um, I had pressure wash, and then I started buying other stuff. I had a lease purchase a record service, and I had a bunch of real estate, Sportsman's Lodge on Lake Concordia, 11 cabins, 40 RVs, spots, bunch of different small buying land, flipping land. First land deal I actually seen on Facebook the other day. It was about 6 years ago. I think it was 6 years ago. I bought a lot for $2,200, and I sold it for $5,500, and it was like, that was a month. I was like, well, that's easy. That's how I kind of got broke down the real estate. I was like, well, let's go. Um, and then all the other pieces of real estate, and just kind of escalated from there. So grew. Worth ethic, just work, just hustled all the time. And then me and another guy ended up partnering up. We created Stricklin Porter Land, and we started doing some flips on top of still doing the tree service and that stuff. Um, and we were like, what's our next move? Because like I bought one track. I think I bought it for like 110. I sold it for like 300 grand in a 6 months time span, and we want to do a bigger scale. So we decided we were going to do two. We're going to do a subdivision. Well, we bailed off on a $10 million subdivision, and then start doing a bunch of other real estate. I think today we've got around 23 million worth of real estate between all of the holdings, but all company holding, not personal, but it's just kind of escalate to that, and fortunate enough, all the way from getting in the right room with that person that helped me start that first business to everything in between. Like I wanted to get in the cattle business. I went and bought $1 million ranch on an owner fi deal with 10% down. Watched the guy show, watched every season, 8 seasons. I sent him an email, and 2 weeks later he's at my house. We buy cows together. It's famous. Like, but I just asked. I believed in him. Asked to buy a saddle from him. We hit it off, and we're still friends today. Just actually shot a TV show with him not too long ago. End of the year, if they pick it up, we'll get a season out of it. And then when I decided I wanted to be big into real estate, understanding that how you get a mentor, you have to have a mentor, and how to pick the mentors, and understanding you don't take advice from anybody that don't have what you want. So if you want to do $1 million a year, find somebody doing $1 million a year. If they don't do $1 million a year, you don't take advice from them. I found Grant Cardone. I was like, that's my guy, right? I actually started with Ramsey, spent a lot of money, like 60 grand with him, and it just wasn't the right fit. Found Grant, I was like, let's go, you know. Uh, over $1 million with them in the last 12 to 18 months. Personal mentorship. Brandon Dawson, great guy. Do a lot, with both of them. But I found the guy I wanted. I want to be a billionaire. I'm gonna be a billionaire. I'm gonna have multiple $billions worth of real estate, and I used one mentor, my father-in-law, on how to get with the banks, how to use the banks, and the debt, and the lease purchases, and the owner fines, and the creative side of the real estate. But I outgrew that, and I was like, I got to have the mentor, and I didn't want to take the next step, mentor. I wanted to go for the big mentor because I want to move at 1,000 miles per hour, not 100 miles an hour. So getting with Grant, doing one-on-ones with him, it just opened my eyes up, and it has been life changing at the stuff I've learned from Grant and Brandon, and the mindset changes on just on real estate and the business and money in itself, and time, trading time for money, and what you do with it when you get it. And there's just so much people don't understand. Um, so I mean that's kind of the journey. And I'm here now, and we're actually laying roads in the subdivision. Just finished up drainage, several lane roads. We just finished up drainage. We're about to start water and gas roads. About 2 weeks, we'll start soil cementing and liming the roads, and probably a month we'll have roads and start selling lots. And we actually bought another subdivision out, built a bunch of houses in it right now. Um, so I've got 5 spec homes. $2 million, $2.5 million worth of spec homes going up right now. That I'll build out and I'll sell them. So and now another thing I'm doing is buying businesses. This year I bought 3 businesses in the last 12 months, and all just added verticals in my main business, just add-ons. So that's where my main focus is right now, is real estate and buying businesses, and also operating the business. My main business was Stricklin Construction. So the way it's broke down right now is Stricklin Construction, Stricklin Land. And Land's acquisition development company, and Shrimport Construction is a joint construction company. Does new construction on commercial and residential. Also remodels. I've got cabinet shop verticals, and then I've got a custom cabinet shop, dumpster rentals, a tree service. I bought a fencing company, HVAC. I've got land clearing, dozers, track hose. So I've got multiple verticals. I've got a big menu. So having in the construction side, having that menu, I've got I've got 40 different things that I can put in front of you. I can sell you something. But most companies don't have that. Most companies are narrow, and they have, if you're an HVAC company, you service, you install new, and you repair. Okay, well, that's cool. But if you don't have somebody that needs them 3 things, then you don't have a job, right? Uh, so just adding them other verticals and understanding how to grow and how to buy revenue versus creating revenue. And there's just a lot to it. And that's where I'm at now. So it's kind of a timeline history of where I'm at.
Man, this is incredible. And yeah, what a story. I'm listening. I'm like, this is the American dream. Like, this is like persistence and, figuring things out as you go, not having the answers, but you just kind of like put yourself out in that situation. You got introduced to an idea or an opportunity, and you said you had the courage to act on that. And that goes with the will that I was talking about earlier. You have that will to be great and take action and make things happen. When you hear something that like sparks your ears or your eyes, you're just like, let's go, let's do that. So you've said that multiple times now. I love it.
All right. I'll never forget. And I knew I needed to change mentors when I took my mentor through my subdivision.
Mm.
And he said, his exact words was, "You have lost your mind. This is too big of a deal. Like, I would never bite something off this big." I said, "It's time." So I went and found me a Billy mentor. And, now I wish I'd have knew what I knew now on the real estate side. And if wasn't so tied up in these 2 subdivisions, we would have 1,000 doors without crowdfunding anything. The cash we had, we'd own 100 million today. And multifamily, and it's complete getting paid to wait, forced appreciation, tons of other stuff you can learn that I've learned over the mentorship with Grant. But right now I'm building myself out of these subdivisions, and I'm projecting 5 years we're out of both subdivisions, and I'm going to completely turn that all to multifamily. Eventually I will start an SEC fund and crowdfund, and stick to multifamily. That's where that's the best in real estate that you're going to get for the tax benefits, getting paid to wait. People don't understand. And I watched a guy the other day call it alligator loans, alligator investments. Is a lot of people want to play real estate investor, and they want to buy all the stuff. They want to take all the capital and want to throw it. Well, if it's not paying you to wait, how many deals can you really do? But if every deal was paying you, how many deals can you go do? Right? But if you got a bunch of notes, you're sitting on a lot of property, yes, you might get big of $1 million. That's cool. But you could have just went and bought this stuff, paid you to wait, and you could have bought 5 million. So just understand that once I get out of these subdivisions, I'm not doing any more subdivisions. I'm just going might the construction company will still continue, but from a land acquisition development company, we're going to stick to just multifamily, and we're going to kind of swap that description of what the business does, and it's going to be a real estate company. So
Okay. Yeah, and like talking about that mindset shift and like thinking big and small, like you think obviously really big today, but it wasn't always like that. And you even like mentioned that like Grant Cardone called you out for doing a $14 million deal, and he said that's too small, man. Like you gotta pick it up. So like how is just that overall perspective of thinking bigger, like how does that really transform your life?
you know, money's money's a it's a weird conversation for a lot of people because they don't understand how money really works. Um, Everybody values money and they chase money their entire life. It's never ending. If you make $1 trillion, they're going to go print another trillion. Right? Like there's no end game. So if you spend your entire career chasing money, you're never going to find happiness. The happiness comes in the options it provides. Everybody wants to argue, well, it still takes money. Okay, yes, it still takes money, but it's the options it provides. Chase the options, not the money. It's really just a mindset. Do I want to be able to take my kid to Cabo for a month every year? Or do I want to go to Orange Beach for 4 days, 5 days? It's a mindset that you might be cool with that. I don't want to go hang out with the brokies. I would rather go hang out with the guys that can elevate me, get the connections I need, and they're in Cabo. The guys that can write the $100 million check, the $1 million check, all of them checks to invest with you or do deals, the network, that's in Cabo. That's not, there is some connections, right? But you're more apt to get, as they say, your network is your net worth, right? So I'm always I'm very strategic on where I go, who am I going to meet. I want to shake hands with the people that I want to be known. Everybody you say it's about who knows you or who you know. It's not about who you know. It's about who knows you. I do it all the time now that I've got in social media and I've got um in the real estate. And my name's everywhere in the athletic department. I'm pouring money in there and just my name's everywhere. There's so many people that come up to me all the time. It's like, hey, I know you. How are you? I've heard such great things about you. That's what I want because the more people that know me like that, when my kids are old enough, and as I get bigger, 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 when my just say my kids are on the way to Missouri for a duck hunt, like I was when I was 16 years old, and they're in the middle of a random town and they have a blowout and it's midnight. Who's going to know me because of my last name? Be able to help my kids.
Wow.
Versus you sit on the side of the road, you don't know nobody knows your last name. That's just something I'm chasing. That's not just for that, but it's if they know me, they're gonna be more apt to help my children, right? And also just building value for everybody. There's something that everybody can learn from everybody. It's nobody's better than anybody. Some people figure it out, some people don't. As I was saying, not everybody should be an employer. There's employees and there's employers. If you didn't have both, you wouldn't have a company, right? But if it's from an employee standpoint or employer standpoint, everybody can learn from somebody to make more money. Um, you know, something I see all the time is, I'm going to go get this side hustle. I'm going to go get the second job, this third job. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And it's like, why? Won't you put your side hustle in your business in my business that you're working for me? It's my fault. Maybe it's my fault. I don't have enough menu. I've got enough menu. But here's some incentives, you know, instead of spending 5 to 9 at night working for somebody else, trying to create some extra money. How about you work 5 to 9 for my company and go sell or do this or do this or do this on a incentive plan and make more money? But everybody normally just hates their job and they want to go try to do a side hustle, and it just never really pans out either for them that way either. So
Yeah. And you've said that it's like easier to buy $1 million in revenue than create it yourself. And that's something that I've never heard before. So, like, again, we're talking about money, and like a lot of people just don't know what we don't know. And so you also mentioned how that like the biggest wealth transfer in our time is happening right now. And we don't need any more small businesses because you can anything you want right now, it's already built and it already exists. So can you talk about that for someone that's just hearing this for the first time and like how they can get in on those opportunities?
right. So right now, they say it's like 68, $69 trillion worth of wealth transfer happening over the next 10 years. And that's because the generations are changing. The baby boomers are dying off, of the retiring. So the baby boomer generation, as you grew up as an American dream, you work, you save your money, you buy a house, you buy a car, you pay it off, and you retire, right? Well, all they know is their entire life is they work, save, and they work their entire life. They didn't run a company. 9 out of 10 small businesses just own a job. They don't actually own a company. People. Well, I own a company because I own an LLC. Okay, cool. You still work every day and you're in the field, and you don't sit behind a desk, and you don't get to do whatever you want to do when you want to do it, how you want to do it, right? So they work their entire life and save that money, and they get to the end and like, well, what do I do? I'm just gonna sell my equipment for pennies on a dollar. I'm just gonna shut it down. They don't know that there's an owner file. They don't know that how to even structure the sale. So being able to present, hey, I'll ownerify it, I'll lease purchase it, I'll straight cash buy it. Them options, I'll become a partner with you. No money, I'll become a partner with you. 50%. You were shutting down anyway. Let me add value and let's go sell for a multiple. There's so many different ways to get a company and what you want to do. So, for instance, and I was already doing it back then with the lawn care, is buying that company. I want to be in the lawn care business. If I want to be my 17-year-old stepson, if when he decides he wants to do something, a year ago he didn't have $1. Today he'll have about 25,000. Next month he stayed illiquid and he's put his cash and he's saved it and he's invested in real estate and he can't touch it and it's building. Right. Every time he gets 1,000, he just dumps it in one of my spec houses. So when he decides he wants to go buy something, if he wants to buy a lawn care business, we're gonna go buy a business that's doing $300,000 a year. If you started a lawn care business and you went and bought all the equipment, I guarantee you it'd take you 12. It'd probably take you 24 to 48 months to do $300,000. Because you have no customers. You spend so much time getting the customers. Heck with all that. Go buy the business doing $300,000 a year. Let's figure out how we take it from 300 to 600, and making that jump is easy. Probably just by changing some management, adding some verticals in there, changing the menu up so they have some more stuff they can sell. Maybe adding some salesmen, some quality control. There's just some you can manage that business, right? Versus trying to create it. So I mean that's where the buying the business really comes into play, is buying the revenue. If you want to do $1 million, I think it's statistically it's like 7 out of 10 or something do not make $1 million a year. So to get to $1 million, that's a good deal. But you also could just go buy the guy that's been in business for 50 years that's doing $1 million a year. And take all them clients. If you had a CRM built out of 50 years worth of clients, and you could run new ads and new money, you're not chasing new money, you're chasing second money, third money, fourth money, 10th money from over the years of these clients, right? You still have the owner on as the front face of the business or helping as a partner, or maybe he's just in the background and he's still standing behind it, however that works. You're chasing second to however what number of money, not new money trying to attract a new customer, because they've had that customer base for 50 years, right? So, or 20 years or 5 years or whatever. So when you run them ads, you say you had 1,000 people and you sent out a deal at $100 to clean your AC at 1,000 people, and you converted 10 of them. 10% of them. You got 100 customers that you come to your house. Well, when you get to their house, they're there for $100 cleaning, but this one needs HVAC cleaning. This one needs an HVAC repair. This one needs a new unit. How much money does that generate? And they believe in you because they already hired that company they've been working with for the last 30 years. Versus, hey, I'm the new guy. I'm 25 years old and I'm in the HVAC business. Let's go. Can I be your guy? You're not going to get to work. So really just mind shift changing. And in my book, I talk about that. Just options of way you can buy and lease purchase and ownerify. And even if they won't ownerify, it's a good deal. The money's there. There's so much money on this planet. It's crazy. There's not a shortage of money on this planet. There's a shortage of people going after it. It's definitely easy to get. There's so much private equity. There's so much baby boomers that's dying off. The kids are getting the millennials don't know. All they want is cash, but when they get the cash, they're like, well, what do I do with it? So there's so many people that's coming into money that are looking for investments. It's just really easy to get, but most people won't focus on the deal. They focus on the money. Like if it's a deal, if I lost everything today, I didn't have a nickel. I didn't have credit cards. I didn't have my name. I didn't have anything. I don't lose my personality. I don't lose my mouth. I don't lose my confidence. I can put a real estate deal together. I promise you, I put a real estate deal together. Cost me no money and can make me a millionaire in one deal. Or even go littler, and I could go and pick up 100 grand, 50 grand. But I wouldn't focus on the money. Everybody does that. Well, that's, they want $1 million. I got to have 250 grand down to buy that deal, and then I got to cash flow it. Okay. Is it a deal? Because and as part of networking, I've got guys that I could pitch it to. I might could fund it. It depends on what deal, but you won't focus on the deal. You focus on the money. All you know is you need 250 grand. You can't fathom that. Okay. I remember when I couldn't fathom that. Now it's like 100 grand a week in bills. It's just a mind shift change or worrying about the deal. You don't have a
Yes.
deal to talk about.
Yeah, it's so good because I've also, like you just said, if you started from scratch, you didn't have any money, you could still put together that deal. And that speaks to the power of having a network and building those relationships and knowing the people that do and getting in those rooms. And again, that's something that I didn't hear until, what you spoke at Toronto that first time, is like, you don't have to have the money to negotiate those deals and still get a piece and run and negotiate that entire operation. So can you talk a little bit more about that, and like, how do you even find those golden opportunities and then negotiating it? Like, what does that look like when you don't have the capital to invest?
So there's multiple ways. Now, there's two different aspects of that. So just say from a real estate standpoint, all right, just say that, let's just say, let's just use my office, for instance. $315,000 to buy this office. Okay. I got a deal together. 20 grand down. All right. $20,000 down on this office. 6%, 30-year loan, no balloon, start the deal. Now, if I didn't have 20 grand, how would I get the 20 grand? You can get 20 grand easy. Your mama, your daddy, your uncle, your grandpa, friends, somebody, if it's a deal, has $20,000. And if it's 4 people with 5 grand, it's 8 people with 2,500, or it's 20 people with $1,000. You can come up with $20,000. And if you say you can't, it's just because you're trying to validate why you didn't chase your dreams. Validate why you can't do it. When in reality, you can, you just don't want to. You rather make excuses, right? So, I did put, I put about 300 grand, 250, $300,000 in this building. I sold it for 787. So, and I actually, on the sale, did a portion. I actually lease purchased with the option at 787. He put 350 G's down. So I got my money back that I put in this deal, right? Now he's on a fine. I'm making 60, 80 grand, whatever, a year interest for the next 5 years. If you don't execute buy at the end, then it's my building steal. But it's getting creative to put that deal together to make the money. There's so many deals. Lease purchase. You don't have money? Okay. You want to buy this piece of property? I'll lease purchase to you for $800,000 at $4,000 a month. $2,000 a month goes towards the interest, and $2,000 a month goes to principal. So at the end, you get $24,000 as part of your down payment. Now we say we bump it, you paid everything, we bump it in one more year, and then you get $48,000. Depending on if the building's paid off or not, I've seen deals where the building's paid off and you get 100% credit. So if I give you $4,000 a month, it's going to get the lease purchase. Old man's just ready to roll, and he's just like, whatever, bro, let's go. Well, in the end, you got $48,000 as part of your down payment. Mm-hmm. So it gives you a year to go get money from other places on top of what you're paying is going down as your down payment, because you owe him $800, but you $48,000 less if you got everything goes straight to principal. So just say you need 160, well, you got a year, save up 120, or go find it in other places. But you got a year to do that, and everything you're paying is going towards your down payment. Because when the bank pays them out, they're only going to pay them $752, not $800.
Gotcha.
So that's one deal, one way to come up with a down payment without having to really come up with a down payment up front to make a deal happen. It costs you $4,000, you walk into an $800,000 deal. I've seen it. $500,000 deal. You know, my father-in-law did a deal before, $500K. $3,000 a month for a year. And in that year, he sold the deal for $750,000. He picked $250,000 up, didn't own the real estate, only controlled the paper, and it only cost him a note every month. He went in there and cleaned it up, and he sold the deal. He paid that guy off, executed his right to purchase, and paid the guy off, and put $250,000 in his pocket.
Man,
and the money he paid every month back. That's another way to make money without, I've sold so many papers. Signed purchase agreement. Hey, I know this is a really good deal. Signed purchase agreement. Turn around on this deal. Sign another purchase agreement, and we double close it. I never pay for it. I own it for 5 minutes. Go to the attorney's office. I did it. I did the house today. I paid $80,000 for a house. Signed purchase agreement for $100,000. Went. I got $20,000 down at purchase agreement signing on my second purchase. I sold it for $100,000. $20,000 down payment. Okay. 30 days later, we went and I closed. Then they flipped me the paperwork, and I closed again. Never had to pay for the property. I got $20,000 out of it. Never put any money down. I'm sorry, I put $1,000 down on that purchase agreement when I first signed. I made the buyer on my end put $20,000 down. So I put all my cash out up front on the purchase agreement, non-refundable, and no contingencies or cash buy. I got $20,000 up front. I mean, that one way. Can you come up with $20,000? Yeah.
Yeah.
And they take a grand turn in and just sign paperwork. But you got to get the right mentor to understand how to get creative. I did that. I had the mentor show me how to get creative, and I ran with it. And I pulled from other mentors and just amplified everything I knew. It's shown now. Number one piece of advice that anybody can do is figure out exactly what they want, what their personal, professional, and financial goals are, who has it, and figure out how to get in the room with them, how to hire them, study every aspect of them. There's a lot of free content out there on any mentor you really want to know, or you really want to follow. Majority, there's a lot of content out there. All their books, read and understand how they did it. You don't have to recreate the wheel. People say, well, you can do the same exact thing as this person done, and it doesn't work. I don't believe that. If somebody, as long as you're confident in yourself, You invest in yourself and you can really deliver and you can sell yourself. You can take the same, I can give you a blueprint of something I've done or somebody else has done and implement every way through. It worked. It wasn't a sales gimmick. It worked. It was a real numbers. Like Brandon. Brandon sold a company for $151 million, right? 77 times EBITDA. He's done it multiple times in different businesses. And this is how you do it. You spend $500,000 to figure that out. And then you can partners with them. I spent that $500,000. But what his plan, what he did with all these, he can do. We're going to do together on my company. We're going to take it public. My plan is to go to $125 million per year worth of revenue in the next 10 years by buying revenue. Once all the systems and everything is created, when you suck this company in, it's like, bam, here's my way of doing everything. The phone's ringing. I took on more employees. Here's all my systems. So let's get more money. But the blueprint's there, and it's proven itself time and time and time again. So number one piece of advice is get a mentor. That's exactly what you want. Study them, figure out how to really get in the room with them, and just be persistent and have the will and the want to and go after it and understand why. Anything's achievable. Doesn't matter if you want to make $1 million, you want to make $100 million. It's achievable if you put yourself in a position to win. It's like football players. If they don't put their position themselves to win, study the film and practice every day and eat healthy and blah, 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 then are they going to win? Probably not a good chance. But if they train, they do everything the right way, and they listen to their coach and they have their mentor and all this, they got a real high chance of winning. Same philosophy.
Yeah, man. You are just dropping bombs right now and giving us the blueprint, making it sound so easy, but it actually is once you know what to do. So thank you so much. And the listeners right now, run that back. If it sounded a little confusing, a little complex, your first time hearing something like that, like run it back because you can break it down into simple terms and get results in your life and just model and even copy what Michael's doing and you're gonna get it just like he said. So another thing that you said though, and a couple times is that confidence. Like we can have the same blueprint, but if you don't have the confidence to execute, it's not going to get the same results. So where does your confidence come from?
One, I mean, you have different personalities, right? Um, but at the end of the day, regardless, especially in sales, it's just being confident. Um,
Yeah.
my confidence comes from stuff I've done, I've achieved. Like, wow, I did that. You know, um, when you can drive through this subdivision that overall is a $40 million project, when you do something like that, it really amplifies and helps that confidence, right? But also down to all the way to the little deal, buying the $2,200 lot, selling it for $5,500. Like, I did that.
Yeah.
You know, it's got to start somewhere. When you make money by doing something that you're good at, it proves that you're good at it, and you just get confident in that area. I'm really good at sales, so one of my salesmen is Grant Cardone. One of my sales mentors is Grant Cardone, right? But every business I own is in sales. So if it's my gas station that's selling tires and oil, gas, if it's my construction services selling jobs, if it's my fence company that's selling fences, if it's my tree service selling fence jobs, if it's my real estate selling real estate, if it's my coaching selling coaching, everything I do is blue collar coaching not really blue collar, but it's sales.
Yeah.
So you have to identify what you're good at and figure out how to monetize it. I'm good at structuring. I'm good at sales. I'm good at making action plans, and I'm good at following through and making sure it happens. And just, my business partner, I'll never forget, he said on camera, he said, why, they asked him, why did you partner with Michael? He said, because Michael gets things done. I can say, hey, we need to do this. Next thing I know, it's like bam, bam, bam. Here's how we're going to do it. Some people are good at that, some people aren't. Time management, construction management, putting plans in place, how we're going to do this financially, just the actual work side of it. How are we going to do this, right? So I mean, that's been and that brought some confidence there. Just hearing why'd you mentor, or why did you partner with him? Because he takes action. As Grant says, is over commit and over deliver all the time.
Yeah.
And I'm saying this live all the time. I will literally say, I said yesterday, I'm standing in the middle of the road to my subdivision. I look at one of my guys been with me for 7 years. I looked at him and I said, the shit I get myself into. And he just laughed. He said, no, the shit you get us into. He's like, I never knew no. From grass cutting to putting a subdivision in. Let's go. If it makes sense, let's go. Oh, what's the worst gonna happen? We'll fail. It's not about how hard. It's not about how you fall or how hard you fall. It's about how you get back up. One of my father-in-law mentor in real estate, he told me that. And the record deal and some other deals, it just didn't pan out. He said, son, it's not about it not working out. It's about you was able to absorb it and keep going. I lost $496,000 in South Carolina because I got in with a guy and his girlfriend that screwed me out of $496,000, 2019. I come home, put my head back down, got back in the trees, and just worked. Most people take a $500,000 lick, they'll go work for somebody else, and they'll never do it again. I was like, let's go. I mean, yeah, it sucks. I'm not going to spend bad money to chase good money. Just put my head down and let's go. And having that will to do it and understand my why. I mean, at the end of the day, that's the biggest deal. If you chase money, you're never going to be happy. And if you do it for yourself, you're probably not going to do it to your best ability because it's not, it's not going to affect anybody besides you. I understand my why and my kids. When my daughter's going to walk up to me when I walk in that bedroom, when I walk in the house, and she's going to run up and say, Daddy, hey, Daddy, love you, Daddy, and just smile. I got to look her in the eyes and be like, I didn't do what I need to do today. And when she's 25, she's going to be dependent on another man. And she's going to have to live and be in a situation she don't want to be in because of money. That ain't going to happen. I refuse for that to happen. She'll have enough passive income that anybody she wants to date, unless she goes to an average American, she'll have enough passive income that will trump anything they can do as an earned income. Unless they're, an entrepreneur, or a normal working employee. And if she wants to go be with an employee, I'm completely fine. I don't care. Like, as long as she's happy, right? But I don't know that she'll have enough income that she can live in America and not have financial restraints. And it will be a passive income. So I mean that in itself is major, and that's my big why. You have the option. You go in the front of the plane, or you can go to sleep, watch a movie, or you gonna read a book. Everybody's like, I don't like to read. Okay. Richest man in the world, Warren Buffett, reads 4 hours a day. What does that tell you? How he knew he needed to buy into Coke was by reading. He made $550 million 2 years ago. I don't know what he made last year. $550 million as an investor in Coke. But he knew he needed to do that off of reading. So I mean, pick your poison. Are you going to goof off, or are you going to read the book? Are you going to watch a YouTube video? Are you going to figure out how to get in that have that mentor? Get in that room. Believe in them. Show them you believe in them. Attract them and get them to actually mentor you. A lot of people don't spend time or invest in themselves to understand how to do that. A lot of people say, well, I don't know how to get a mentor. I don't know how to attract a mentor. Oh, okay. So instead of buying the Gucci handbag or the platinum truck or this or that. Why don't you do one-on-one with me, or do one-on-one with somebody else, or spend a lot of time or spend that money on buying somebody else's program and understand how to attract that mentor? Well, a lot of people don't want to do that. They want to go buy the dumb stuff and not invest in themselves. So the way money works is when you get money, you invest in yourself and you invest what makes you money. And then you invest for passive income. But everybody wants to jump to the passive income. They want mailbox money because they just want to sit at home and be lazy. That don't work. You can't get the passive income you need to live in America without doing step 1 and 2, because you need a lot of money, capital, to put in something that's going to provide enough passive income for you to live. But everybody wants to get a side hustle and they want to invest. So I want to buy this house because they want an $800 a month check in their mailbox. Like, what is that doing for you? Like, you're broke and you're still broke. $800 does not make you where you have options. So understanding that when you get money, you invest in yourself. Nobody can take that from you. Nobody. Only way you lose that is if you die. So every dollar you spend on yourself, and you gain knowledge and you pay attention and you write notes and you get them gold nuts and you apply it into your business, bro, you can't do nothing but win. Somebody, you can't, I'll never believe, you'll never be able to show me somebody that gets earned income from wherever they get it from, invests in their self and what they're good at, or whatever their niche is, whatever their gift is. They invest in their self to learn more about that gift, to be able to monetize it, and they invest in what makes them money, that they're broke and they can't make it. But most people will not invest in themselves. Most people can't fathom writing a $500,000 check, a $5,000 check for 4 hours. Some people are like, "Oh my God, are you serious?" And some people was like, "Why ain't you? Why not cost more?"
Yeah.
You know, it's $100,000 for 4 hours, $25,000 an hour. It's like, I think it's like $260 a minute or something.
But
But
it's worth it every time, right?
I paid them $100,000 for the first 15 minutes.
Yeah.
I asked the right questions. Understand that people have what you want. People is a new currency on this planet, not money.
Yeah.
Money's everywhere, but if you don't have the right connections, one person can change your life forever. One person can help you change your family trajectory of your family tree forever. But most people go, "I want to do my own deal. I don't want a partner. I don't want to raise money." Okay, well, stay small.
Yeah.
Own a job for the rest of your life. I love partners. And there's operating agreements. There's certain things put in place around that. It's not the Wild Wild West, but everything spelled out, and you know who does what. Partnerships are great. But people go in partnerships with their best friend. They don't put any operating agreement, and they don't have any serious thoughts, and they don't know how to structure, and they don't invest in time with a mentor to figure out how to structure it, and they fail. And then just another statistic. So
Yeah. Yeah, I love how you mentioned like investing in yourself is the most important investment because, again, like you said, everyone wants that passive income and they don't want to delay that gratification to put things off. They want those immediate results. And when you are investing yourself, you're not seeing those like that revenue coming in right away because you're putting the bank in here. But then those skills that you learn, that's what's going to get you the revenue down the line. Even a week after or a couple days, like you can start applying exactly what you learned and get those results. So truly, guys, that is the number one investment. And I'm so glad that you brought it up today for anyone listening.
sure. Yeah. Invest in yourself. That's it.
Yeah.
Invest in yourself. You can't tell me. Like, if you invest in yourself, there's no way you can't win.
Yeah. So we're gonna start to wrap this up because I want to be respectful of your time here. We'll do like two more quicker questions and then we'll promote your book real quick and then get on with the rest of our days. So I'm curious, man, as you are a highly successful entrepreneur, what are some of your non-negotiable daily habits and routines to maintain and expand your success?
Training every day. Every morning, 6 to 7. I train, listen. It might be motivation, might be whatever. It's from a mentor. If it's ET, if it's Grant Cardone, if it's Brandon Dawson, John Maxwell, whoever it is, I'm going to do something in that hour for sure. Because an hour a day, it turns into 365
Yeah.
hours in a year, right? Too. So that's almost 9 weeks, 8 9 weeks of investing into your mindset and into there's so many free golden nuggets out there if you just listen and read that you can put into your business. Um, and then also, with that being said, when you get in them, when you study like that, when you get around the high net worth individuals, they gain confidence in you because of the conversations you can have and the questions you ask.
Yeah.
When you read somebody's book or you text somebody, "Hey, can we meet up?" Probably not gonna happen. But when you text them and say, "Hey, chapter chapter 5, line paragraph 2, line 3, you said this. What does this mean?" They're way more amped to answer you.
Hmm.
Uh, they probably would meet with you because they know you're serious and you're reading, you're taking notes, and you're trying, right? Versus just trying to hang out with them. So that, and then I have certain team meetings now with team leaders and project managers throughout the day of construction. And then all my calls with Cardone and stuff, my weekly calls, and just making sure I'm on them, and also in the evening time after kids go to bed and stuff, putting right back into reading something or listening to something. If I'm going down the road, I always try to listen to either motivation, or everybody needs to be motivated. Doesn't matter how much money you make, what you do, you still need to be motivated. Um, so studying or listening to audio books, or something, but always taking time to invest in myself. If you
Yeah.
do that, invest in yourself, you can't not win. So
Every day too, you start with that hour of power and then you're turning that drive time into a live time. So I love that. And something that we can all do if you're listening, you want to make the most out of each day, optimize your life, get better results. Those are some things that you can put into practice starting today if you're listening to it right now. So love that. And got one more question before we wrap things up here. What's been one of the greatest lessons or advice received that has made the biggest impact on you?
uh you know I would probably say, think you're thinking too small. Like, you got to think bigger. Like, I didn't really understand. Everybody jokes about that. Think bigger. Uh, okay, well, when you think bigger, you start to take bigger actions. You start to, as Brandon says, I think it's what you think is what you say. What you say is what you do, and what you do becomes your legacy.
Hmm.
But it starts with what you think, right? The key thing there is what you think. So if you think bigger, then what you think is what you say, and what you say is what you do, and what you do is becomes your legacy. It's going to be way bigger if you just think bigger. Can you own $1 million business? If you ask the average, I guarantee you ask 9 out of 10 people, probably 9.8 out of 10 people, can you own $1 million piece of property? Could you? They're going to tell you no. Well, why not? Because they don't have the knowledge. They wouldn't invest in their sale. They don't understand how to do a lease purchase. They don't understand how to do an owner fi. They don't understand how to go raise money. They don't understand how to put a deal together. Anybody can do it, but are they willing to invest in themselves, read the content, hire the mentor, whatever they have to do to be able to do it? They're not going to do it. So thinking bigger and taking action, massive action, not just your daily routines, And every time I go to an event, I come back and it's even more. It's like, let's go. Um, just like this last event. And every event, you learn something from somebody. This last event, I learned something. It cost me 40 G's, but hey, I guarantee it makes me millions of dollars, tens, hundreds of millions over my lifespan, over what I learned at this last event. One golden nugget. It cost me a lot of money to get it. I had to show up. I had to perform. I had to show I was serious. And then when you do that, and that's the thing with mentors, is don't email a mentor or message them, direct message them, ask them to mentor you. Don't ask them for free stuff. Don't ask them. Believe in them first. You believe. Say you believe in this guy, and he's got coaching stuff, and he's got products, and he's got this, and he's got that. He's got live events. Show up.
Yeah.
Show up and sit on the front row. Or buy his programs. Get known. Let him see your face. Show him you believe in him. And when you believe in him, he'll believe in you. But if he don't know you, you randomly text him, say, will you mentor me? Probably not. Especially not for free. And not gonna do it for free. I'll do it if you pay them, right? But a lot of people just want you to do it for free. And it's like, I don't even know you. Never seen you before. Show up. You want me to mentor you? Buy a program. You have no idea where that's going to go.
Right.
I got mentors that charge $100,000. Now it's like hearing stuff on like we're friends, right? But it took me showing up. It took me being on the front row. It took me doing one-on-ones. It took me all that stuff to get to that point because I believed in them. Now they believe in me. So just believe in yourself. Hire a mentor. Invest in yourself, and you can't not win. If you can prove that you're doing all of that and you still can't win, I'd sit down with you and just give you some pointers for free because I love people that try for themselves. But it's hard to believe if you're investing in yourself and you find the mentor and you invest in what makes you money and you figure your gift out and you set goals, targets, and have a team aligned with them, you take on the world.
All you need is like 2, 3 guys put a team together, and yeah, you can take on the world. And man, that's so good. Like, yeah, show that belief, but then also show that value too. Like, what are you bringing to the table? Not just like take, but what can you give to that person and, make it worth it for them too. So that's also another thing that I just like to add to that. But man, this has been incredible. I'm excited to listen to this again and just take notes myself. Let us know before you hop off, like, how can we support you? You have your book, Time is Running Out. I will put the link in the show notes so everyone can grab a copy of that. What else do you have going on, or what's something that you're looking forward to so we can get involved?
The real estate investments. I've got a lot of lots, a lot of houses going up. If you want to buy a house, you want to buy a lot, or you want to see what kind of deals we can do together. Definitely reach out from the real estate standpoint. As far as the coaching, we're building some offers right now. I actually have a mastermind that I'm putting on December. I think it's first weekend. It's either the first or second weekend in December. It's a mastermind in the Bahamas. It's 6 seats. It's $10,000 a seat. Me, Paul Gitter, which is an internet marketing nerd, Gary Cox will all be speaking at that event, going to the Sandals for a day. Just a great event with like-minded people that understand how to grow, and that's part of getting in the small rooms and showing you're serious. So that's the event I've got coming up. We can do one-on-one stuff, and michaelstricklin.com/book, and fill a link out, just pay shipping, get you a free book, and see where it goes from there.
Awesome, man. I will drop your Instagram on here as well. Do you prefer LinkedIn, Instagram? Like, where are you on social the most?
It's Instagram and Facebook.
Okay, Facebook.
Instagram, really.
Okay, cool. Awesome. Well, we will get that out there. Michael, thank you so much for stopping by and keeping it real with us today. You are a world-class leader that's empowering everyday people to build a life that they're proud of while creating generational wealth to support families go from surviving to thriving. The world is a better and brighter place because of you and your work. I'm so grateful that we crossed paths on this journey as you shifted my mindset and have made a big impact on me in such a short amount of time. Thank you so much for sharing your insights with us today.
I appreciate you having me, and it was a great time up in Canada, and I look forward to doing it again. And hopefully impacted some lives today, and they can take something from this podcast and change their life. So super glad. Thank you.
Transform your health and life with the Nova Fusion 21-day Wellness and Resilience Challenge. We're bringing the heat with daily inspiration, education, downloadable resources, and challenges to get and stay on fire. You're not going to want to miss this epic experience with us as we stack massive momentum, develop strong bonds, and create lasting lifestyle changes together. It's time for you to get in the room, ask advice from gladiator guest speakers, realize your untapped potential, and spark your transformation. The insights, the powerful tools, the lessons, the challenges in this program will truly transform your life. I believe in these practices so much that I guarantee results or your money back, so you have nothing to lose and everything to gain. So what are you waiting for? I would love to invite you to our next challenge, where we will discover the world's best wellness and resilience practices for staying mentally and physically fit for a lifetime. It's everything you need to get an unstoppable edge against the competition, and there are limited spots available. Let's spark your transformation together. I'm excited to see you and grow with you on the other side. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of EMG Transformations. You never know how one valuable insight can make such a big impact. Please leave a 5-star review if this episode had a positive impact on you. And don't be shy to screenshot and share episodes on social that you found helpful, so we can spread the message and make the world a better place. You never know who may need to hear and the impact it has on them too. We're only scratching the surface. There's so much more to learn. Subscribe and stick around to manage stress, improve your health, and create lasting lifestyle changes. We'll see you next time on EMG Transformations.